Follow your leaders. Where are your leaders going? They ever told you? You ever talk to them on a personal level? Or it's always been in public where it's just whatever everybody wants to hear? Because isn't that what politics is? Telling people what they want to hear. You've heard it 1,000 times. That's all. They just tell you what they want to hear, what you want to hear. That's all they're doing. Telling you what you want to hear. So where are your leaders taking you? Not necessarily your governmental leaders. Who do you listen to on the radio? Who do you listen to on TV? Who do you listen to in your family? Or maybe at work? Or who is your leader? Do you even have a leader? Or do you even know that you have a leader? Maybe you just listen to somebody and then you realize later that, well, I'm doing something that he or she said. I didn't even realize it. And then you go on, well, I'm doing it again. Or maybe you're just grab what you can. Oh, this will work. This will work. Or maybe life hasn't taught everybody how to follow, or how to lead, or how to gather information and know what's right, and stay away. That's none of these religions, they ain't going to teach it. What's religion going to teach? They teach it. There's virgins out there, and then you'll have a virgin. So they're basically saying you're going to, you know, take virginity away from somebody. Isn't that what religion is? I mean, should you be striving for sex? Shouldn't you be striving to maybe better life on the planet, not your own, just life in general? Like maybe make the water cleaner by, I don't know, cleaning up your area. Stopping water pollution or stopping, litter. That's how you start little. Is there a way to, instead of forcing everybody to do it, like law does, where, look at how bad crime is now. Look at how bad everything is now, because they force you to do all this stuff. It's forced. Anytime somebody's forced to, they don't want to do it. And then they tax you. Then they fine you for not doing what you're told. Yet they haven't really proven, if you ask them why, they don't have a freaking answer. They're like, well, it's just the law. And, where the law, why was it written? I don't really care who wrote it. It might come down to, reasons why they came about writing it, but you don't need to know that right away, do you? You'll land on that subject later on, but that's like school teaches you. You gotta know all these people. It doesn't make sense. The way they teach doesn't make sense to me. There are some people that just born to go to school and their heads made to get all that junk crammed into it once and remember it. Me, I gotta kind of have a path to go down. That it's a necessity to go down this path. It's a necessity to know why I got to do this. It's a necessity. That's how I am. I gotta need to know why I got to do everything, because I like to know. I like to know the decisions made, why it's done. Somebody says I used to, when I was a kid, I used to mow the lawn. Then I read somewhere or heard or something that mowing the lawn in the same path doesn't help the grass any. And so I started mowing. I used to mow, when I was a kid, I used to mow in triangles and circles and everything else, to mow different instead of having a path through the grass to help the grass grow. But, I was told, hey, don't mow like that. It looks crazy. And I said, well, it's how it helps the grass grow. I wasn't doing it to look crazy. I was doing it, I thought, well, I could have cut it in half and mowed diagonally. I didn't. I just thought, well, why not just mow in a bunch of shapes and stuff, But it's not crazy. It's easier to go diagonally, not mow in the same place. That's just a simple decision. Just like decisions to have people, people working, and they got to drive to work in snow or sleet or rain or some dangerous situation. You know, it's like pouring rain down, and you know they woke up and it didn't start raining until 5 minutes before they left for work, and it's pouring down. They couldn't see, and now their time is they're late for work. You know, being late for work. You know, they put a big emphasis on being late for work for people. You know, and people they got all these. You know, even in a normal situation, you know, people got different. I've noticed that I set my alarm 15 minutes earlier now because I was noticing that I was getting the time I wanted to arrive at work was starting to. I was doing some other stuff that was causing me to not arrive at the time I wanted to arrive. So I got up 15 minutes earlier, and it's still happening. I mean, there's things you cannot control, and this stuff, whatever it is that's going on, I don't know if it's slow or if I'm being distracted by something or something else, but everybody's got their own little quirks that they got to work through. And there's a lot of people, especially the people in charge, that they bullied their way through, not necessarily going around pushing people around, but they head bullied their way through to where they don't have these problems. You know, from maybe kids or maybe their parents were like bull plows or whatever, like bull-nosed plows, and just plowed right through all the obstacles in their life, and they don't have anything. They get up and you know they don't have distractions like this, that, or that. Anyway, a lot of people don't have. You know, some people say, "Oh, I want to take care of a parakeet" or something like that. You know, so they start taking care of a parakeet, and then they find different ways to make it better for that parakeet. So they start adding to the routine of taking care of the parakeet, and it extends their time. And so they might be late. Oh, what was you doing? I was feeding my parakeet. Well, it's not a very good excuse. Oh, it is. It's keeping something alive. It's better. You know, if people didn't eat meat, they wouldn't have all these freaking, you know, that's not a good excuse. You know, I'll tell you what's not a good excuse. Killing animals for food is not a good excuse. Basically, you kill animals for what? For power, for strength, makes you stronger, healthier, because you want to, go to war. All you people that don't go to war, that you kill an animal and then you say, I don't want to kill anything. I don't want to kill anybody. You're killing an animal every day. Billions of animals die daily. The rationale of the human race, they've never had one. They let tradition dictate, and then they make decisions. They might find something. They try to piggyback on something with a good idea. They think, wow, this is really good. They're piggybacking on something, and they're still traditionalizing, and they might be doing one thing, but all the other stuff they're doing kind of retroacts the one good thing they're doing. I mean, it causes the one good thing they're doing to not be as good as what they're trying to escape, I guess. Wait, one, not their no, what they're no. Anyway, whatever. That one thing, you know, people say, well, I've lived a good life and did one bad thing wrong, and I've always been remembered for the one bad thing. How about people do a bunch of bad stuff and they're only remembered for one good thing? You know, they've killed this and that. He rescued a dog. You know, so they're like everybody falls in love with some guy that rescued a dog, but he's killed 13 people. You know, I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that it's ever happened. I'm just saying, you know, maybe he likes torturing animals. You know, maybe he's taking the dog to rescue the dog to torture it. You know, you don't know that they have torture. I mean, anyway, I don't know why I'm off subject. What I'm trying to talk about is leaders, you know, and then it depends on where, you know, at what level is this leader? Is it just somebody at your home, in your neighborhood, in your community that you read in the paper, and you're like your community, just small community paper? Is it your city? Is it your work? Is it your school? You know, is there somebody, or you have multiple leaders, you know? The thing is, are they, just because you believe them, this little traditional pact that you came out of, is all going to believe a certain way. And there's certain offshoots you're going to have off of there. Even if you mingle with another group, you're going to try to mingle with this group and try to make decisions like that. Is that right? Y'all eating meat, you're still eating meat. You're still killing something. You understand that? You understand it? You're doing these stupid little things like, well, I don't drive with a full tank of gas anymore because it's too much weight in the car, and I think I'll get better fuel mileage if I drive with half a tank of gas. Okay, that's what you learn from this group. This group is always keep the tank full. Well, the alcohol in the fuel now is supposedly dissipates quick. I don't know. I don't know how quick it dissipates. It's alcohol, so I'm guessing it's going to evaporate somehow. But that's not a very good example. I'm just saying, how do you pick the path of what's right? Nobody. There's no teachers, and with the teachers that are, they all eat meat. They all breed. They're all creating problems. I mean, what are you gonna 18? Well, I'm 18. I'm 16. I'm 18. I'm 20. I'm 22. I think it's time for me to have sex and breed and have a kid. You have no life experience. You're probably just barely getting started. What do you want to do? Bring a kid? I mean, think of all the people. Your life's been good. Okay, so just saying it is, or saying it hasn't. However your life is. Maybe some people think, well, I think I'll be able to bring my kid up better if I've lived a worse life. So I'm going to bring my kid up better because I know the problems of dealing. And it's all different levels. You can start at the worst person to have a kid to the best person to have a kid. And as soon as they leave that comfort zone and your rules, and you might have overruled them, some of them, it's all sprinkled along here are people that are going to rebel. Their kid's going to rebel. All sprinkled along here are kids that are going to say, wow, my parents are great and they taught me good. But it's not each and every parent. You don't know if you're going to be a good parent. Even these books. I mean, there's some of these magazines telling women to go out and have an affair in a marriage. It makes their marriage better. That's the stupidest advice I've ever heard. I mean, if you want to be loyal to that's like abandoning your children. You're a mother to the children and you're a family unit. And then all of a sudden you go out and you're just bringing some stranger back that's going to be, his thought's going to circulate through that family. It might break up the family. It might break up a child. It might make a child go out and become a drug addict or a prostitute or an alcoholic or whatever. It might make them better. It might make them worse. But you just broke that family unit to have sex. And some people think, well, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go out and have sex because he's business, and I'll bring the business mind back to what if none of these want business? What if they just want to, or they don't want that kind of business? They found something else. That's the whole thing. There's some people that know, some people that don't, and there's the mixture of the people that know and the people that don't. There's higher that don't, and the people that do. There's not that many, and if they do, then it's probably a large concentrated effort that's helping them along. And that's what perfecting. But that concentrated effort can't do 7 billion people having 7 billion kids or having 3.5 billion kids. It's impossible. That concentrated effort you've bred beyond a concentrated effort of help, and you've taken on values that might have died thousands of years ago. And even new ideas, they might not work because all these different people have raised, you're saying people that are eating fish all their life compared to somebody that's eaten, I don't know, lived on goat's milk and whatever, or lived on steak. Now, they might both try the different things, but you've been raised on eating fish or you've been raised on eating steak. Now, it's a bad example for me. So I'm trying to be a vegan, trying to be a non-meat eater. But, if I say vegan, then everybody's going to say, oh, that's odd, man. I'm not a vegan. I don't know what you're talking about. So you try to mesh these two. Try more fish, try more meat. These people here, they live in a country where, maybe it's maybe it's India, and they, well, we don't. I don't know how it is. Maybe they eat meat. I mean, they got cows there, so the cows are there for what? Milk? I don't know. I don't know what they got cows for. Just to look at, pull their plows, whatever. I don't know. But you're trying to mesh stuff, 1,000-year-old tradition, and you're not given, even they give I see these technical reasons for these vegans trying to change these people's ideas, and it's all about diet. Now, is that what it inspires people? Is that what inspires you? Your life, is that just narcissism taking over, where it's, well, I'm going to my most important thing to me is me, and I'm going to improve my diet. I'll tell you what, some of these, you practically have to be a freaking doctorate from some of these diets that some of these vegans are in, or some of these real high uh, athletic people are in. I mean, the stuff, I'm used to coming home, I'll fix a sandwich and I'll fix this, that, and the other. I'm still that way. I don't eat meat, but I'm not going to get into all that medical stuff. I'm figuring when I was born, if society and religion and government and education system, if I wouldn't have had to combine with society, if I would have just lived my life and not had to combine with society, I would have known what to eat. I would have known what would have made me healthy at that moment. Now, do they have everything here? No. You know why? Because everybody's moved. I mean, isn't the more north you are, the more meat you eat? The colder the climate, the more meat you eat, and that's how it is. It's just hunters went farther north, and that's what's farther north is meat eaters. Now, nowadays there's you get food from anywhere. You can be I don't know if you can be a vegan in Alaska. Maybe you can. They might have greenhouses up there. I don't know, but you're gonna have to wait on fruit and all that stuff. You'd be a better idea down by the equator or down in a tropical zone somewhere, or subtropical, to get around. But then you get more bugs in the greens and all that stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, getting off. Man, that's off subject. Talking about leaders, finding a leader. I'm finding subjects. If you find a leader, they just say, oh, that, they just point at that. That's a good person, And how do you know the person telling you that's a good person is a good person? I mean, what if the person telling you is your father, and he's raped, and telling his daughter that's a good person, that's somebody to follow, and he's raped her for 10 years, raped his daughter for 10 years, but, and there was a certain, and then he quit raping her at a certain age, and then she's either so like warped from, wow, did that really happen? And now it's not happening. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't know how these. Anyway, that's not. Wow, subject just kind of flows to everything, but that's how leaders are. I mean, look at all these people. Even people with morals, they're still going to eat meat. They're still going to kill something. Something's going to die, and that's karma. That karma comes back somewhere. It might not hit them. It might hit somebody else. But that's karma that they're putting out. All these meat eaters putting out karma. Everything dies. All this energy is being just shut off. It was going someplace. Now it's going to go to someplace else. And all these people are running around with all this ADD. They got all this energy, and they can't, these people are all over the place. I've worked for a couple of people that had that, and they're just like energy all the time. They're just like, they got too much energy, and they're just banging off the walls. Maybe they're on a drug. I don't know. But all that energy's gone. Them heartbeats, that thought, that family, that spirit, it's a constant. There's a karma in that. And look at all the disease and deaths and all the trouble and crime and everything. It's a karma. Even though you want to not believe in it, and I'm not going to say it's seeable, it's predictable, it can just flow and it might hit wherever. You know, it not even saying it's a karma of Indian folklore or whatever that is. I mean, maybe it's Indian or Hindu, maybe it's in a Hindu religion, but it's karma, and and that's all. That's whatever all this trouble is. People think they can, they eat meat and they can do this, and the more they get over on people, the more they try to get over on people, and then they're just messing with lives. And even it's people, even these people that you think, well, they'll never mess with anybody. You don't know that. You don't know that they've gone their whole life not mess with them. But then one time or one day they sit there, or maybe it's for weeks or months or years. They find one person that they just want to drill on, and they just want to mess with them and not let anybody know about it. And there's just so many different attitudes of what people are. And we're living on a planet in space. Everybody tries to make it look like a fairy tale or a storybook. Something you just turn the page. Well, that's what happened yesterday. You just turn the page, and this is a new page. Well, if you get a horror story, every page you get Mike Myers in there. Every page he's going to be killing somebody. So, you're going to have to. There has to be something to find a way to, for people to, no matter if they got a religion around them, no matter if they got good leaders, no matter if they live in a criminal environment, you're not going to change a criminal. I mean, you could if you force them into a situation. Yes, maybe some criminal dies. Think, there's a hardcore everywhere and everything. You're going to get a preacher that'll die for talking about Jesus. You're going to get a criminal die because he wants to sell drugs or prostitutes or children or whatever. You're going to get somebody to die in every walk of life for anything. Not for anything, but for that